Oh,
Hey, everyone.
as soon as I put this on, I fog up my glasses. That is the biggest issue. I can't see it smiling.
I know, because you, when you're there, you have your contacts in.
For real. Well, sometimes. And I'll wear my glasses at the end.
Did you?
Yeah. Smuggler's Run messed me up, gave me a headache for 2 days. No, a migraine for 2 days.
Where did you sit?
Off the pilot on the left side, and I
Yeah.
thought, oh, didn't.
Yep. You know where I find them the best? When I'm the engineer.
Yeah, that's the only place I'd ever done before that, and it didn't screw with me at all.
I know. The engineer is like, great. My eyes twitching now. I'm like, we're a mess.
I know, dude. I think I have something in my teeth. Hey, here, I want to show you how to smile for pictures.
Awesome.
Isn't that good?
Yes.
So I'm getting rid of the mask. Once it's like a couple more people come in, I get to get my $6 worth of my purchase, and then this is going away.
I am surprised that they're only $6, aren't you?
Dude, I just gotta say, Scott Gardner kept the mask makers in Sri Lanka or where they make these things in business. He bought so many masks because he bought like 10 at a shot.
God, we loved the pink pony mask so much.
There it is. Yeah, the pink pony. But Scott was buying these things like they were going out of style, which they might. You know what? They're cool though. Like I gotta say, I mean, besides for the fact that Elizabeth told me that Hanes, the underwear company, makes masks now, and you can buy them. Like ever since she said that, the instant she said that, I feel like I was wearing underwear on my face. Underwear material. They really are.
Too funny.
Pink pony. Still his favorite. I like that.
I think as soon as we don't have to wear the masks, that people will so quickly be putting the masks away.
But I think I mean, this is going to be, like I have Vinylmations. This is like, this had near this trip. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a moment in time.
I know. I hope they never wear it again, but
yeah.
This one's good. If you stay at Pop Century, it's mandatory that you buy this one. Like Pop's like all about the
colors. Yeah.
I knew I had seen that. I knew it, Joe Laszlo. I knew I had heard that.
We believe it. We believe it.
Yes. It's offset. No, I haven't been there. I'm just saying because I used to drive all the time. I'm not playing. I've not been there. But
you have to subscribe to the Be Our Guest at Night show to hear about Mike's forays.
Be Our Guest at 3 in the afternoon.
Into the pink pony.
No, I'd seen it. I know it's on 75. I bet you. Let me ask Joe real quick. It's got to be on 75.
Too funny.
Mm-hmm. We are going to start. I'm just trying to get some protein. Couldn't get protein with the mask.
Can't eat with it.
Scott. Okay, so many Scotts. Scott, he is my best friend for so many reasons. 110 heat index. Wearing underwear on your face.
Oh no.
2 in the afternoon. Epcot on a Saturday. He makes me eat a kefta pocket.
No.
It was so spicy. Okay, so I was already sweating. Like 7. Dude, I had pores. I had sweat coming out pores I didn't even know I had.
Oh my gosh. Right?
And he makes me eat this kefta pocket. He didn't make me eat it, but he kept talking. How Scott is, dude. He's like, you got to have this thing. It's so good. And like he told me this 2 days in advance of going to Epcot. So I'm like,
do they have the hummus fries still? That's my question.
Yes, they did. And he had those too.
Love those.
So he was sweating like at a secondary level of me because he had the pocket and those fries.
I don't think the fries are very spicy.
Are they? They look spicy. They looked it.
They're so good though.
Yeah. So I just had the pocket. Whoo, dude, both of us. Like I looked over at Scott. He's crying. Like his eyes are red.
Yeah, but you dum-dums, because Scott was sending us photos with getting that stupid sampler plate at 50s. What the heck?
Oh no,
you cannot get that in the summer.
Nope, I got the meatloaf. I felt terrible. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that for Friday's show.
No, you want to know what you can get in the summer there? Seriously, here's what you can get. The wedge salad.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that'd have been smart. I don't know if
That's the safe option. And I do love their wedge salad. It's actually really good. And a bargain.
Dude, I'm just telling you. After I had that Kefta thing, it was so spicy, and it was. Did I mention heat index 111? Underwear on my grill. Dude, sweat coming out of place. Like I think I was sweating out my ears. I am not kidding. Like, oh, dude, that would have been too hot to have in January. They should have like a waiver. Like you should not get this if the heat index is 111 and you got a mask on your face.
I say legit funniest thing I ever heard of. Right? Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
A person wrote a complaint letter to Disney. And I heard this from a Disney employee. So this is legit true. Not one of those bus driver stories either. This is a legit true thing. Writing to complain it's too hot in Disney in the summer. And there should be an advisory that people should not go to Disney World in the summer. I was like, what?
I mean, what did Forrest Gump say? Stupid is as stupid does.
Right? I'm like, I guess the advisory is look at the Weather Channel before you go. I don't know what else to tell you, people.
No, you know what? It was hot. It was smoking hot. But I mean, it's always been smoking hot. And
yeah, absolutely.
I didn't really even notice the whole. We'll talk about it during the show. But
you were like the test dummies for the mask and the heat, basically, right?
I've been called that many times.
I know. I'm just saying, this is another.
Holy, and put Scott and I together, and it's like, dude. I mean, we put the S in dummies. It was so fun though. We had a ton of fun. And
good.
Jeff's driving back. Be safe. Yeah, I'm just glad I got home. And for the first, like, I felt like a real flyer after being planed and deplaned because I've been watching all the old Amazing Races because there's not like the Cardinals can't ever play baseball again, I don't think, because of the Uncle COVID. And so, yeah, I felt like I was totally Amazing Racing it. We finally got home last night at like 11. Oh, dude, okay, so let's just. Yeah, and then I get home and there's a heat warning here. So,
it's blazing here today.
When I left, though, it was 56. When I left St. Louis, it was 56.
When we were at the park this morning, we were walking, and we get there, and I'm like, "Oh, it's pleasant." And by the end, I'm like, "This is horrible." Like in that amount of time, it changed. Yeah, it's so
hot. Yeah, Daniel has the he has the question, which we're going to talk about Skyliner and Studios. And I got a good story for that. Scott's going to do a show because we're going to talk about working from Walt Disney World because he did that. But when we get together, we got to tell that story, the story of the 9:59:45 boarding pass, the Hail Mary, and we got it.
Oh my.
I'm going to tell some of that story on Friday though, because it's a good story. Okay, let's do so if anybody has questions, Daniel threw one in. You got questions because I was just there, and I got some from the group, which I'm going to use too.
I got some answers today. They're in this book.
Is that a secret? Let me see the cover.
No, it's not. I have a notebook. I still on top of all of the other things that I do to keep myself organized, which is typically Google Keep is my way that I keep organized. I have it.
Yep, me too.
Whatever. I also each week write things down. And the reason why is because I can go back. So here's my. Yes, I can go back and look at the date and see what I was doing.
Cheap book from Target.
I know. See, we all do it. This book goes back to 2017.
No, I keep my old ones. Like here's the last one, but it's totally full. You want to know what all the shows, all the mess ups? They're in the Mizzou Tigers notebook. These things, but I mean, nobody can read it. It just says like 2532, and that means I had to go back to 2532 and edit.
Back at the end of 2017, I was creating an extension and test for Disney Cruise Line placeholders. So there we go. Test is our CRM system that we use. So there's a little glimpse into our life. Boy, it's exciting.
Dude, I know. Let's see. Mine is, I was doing some numbers today on Flex tickets. There you go. Florida Flex tickets.
Yes. Scott Gardner. Yes, I do always have the best answers. I'm glad you know that about me. You know me well enough that I always have the best answers.
Okay, let's do the show. And this is so real quick. We're going back to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we're also going to have the Thursdays. the Thursday show will be the Sunday call-in show that we're still doing, but I'm going to drop the Tuesdays and Saturdays with the old call-ins because I think we've caught up. Actually, there's no more of those to do. So you will be getting 4 shows a week, but high quality shows. Well, it's high quality. So
higher quality, moderately.
Mom always said to try as hard as you can and just be proud of it. So that's what we're
right. There we go. Is that what we're sticking with? I like that.
Back to what we were before, Uncle COVID came. So
okay.
Yeah, so it'll be Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
We're gonna give it a shot.
With a bonus Thursday, which will be the Sunday show from like 3 days.
My question just is like at some point, are you getting me hair and makeup to do these shows?
Yeah, it's third floor on the right. Third door.
I would like a team to come in.
I'm totally scared to clear my throat now because like every time I clear my throat, like Paige just gives me the side eye. I'm like, seriously, I cleared my throat before I left, like way more than this. I will tell you, when you're down there, if anybody coughs, dude, it's like everybody jumps
back up.
And it's a little, that's the only thing. Like, I think it was just me and Mallory. I don't know, because Paige has us freaked out because she's got all the basketball stuff and they're always testing. And
oh god,
it's like living with a, one of those people, I don't know what they're called, but like that washes their hands all the time. Like Paige wasn't like that. Now she is. So,
yeah, we wash our hands all the time here.
Oh, dude, so much hand sanitizer. Oh, I got another story about that, but that'll be for the show too. Okay, so here we go. Let's do questions. You have questions, throw them in. And here, so this is 14 or 17:45. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, sorry, I had to throw something away there.
You ready, Ricky? Because as soon as I'm like, okay, let's go, she's like, I'm
ready.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 1745 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're doing well. Back from Walt Disney World. Had a great time. Thanks for following along on the social media. Hope you enjoyed the pictures, the videos, the stories that are to come today. Today's mostly questions. Friday will kind of be a little recap, and then Monday is going to be the live recordings we did each day, Mallory and I, when we got back to the hotel. So we'll have a live trip report for Monday. So lots of stuff here from the fall of 2020. Weird times down at Walt Disney World, but fun times with friends and great, things we missed nonetheless. So it's going to be a kind of a fun week getting caught up with what's going on right now down at Walt Disney World. So joining me today to answer your listener questions, we have Pam Forrester, co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. Pam, you staying cool up in Pittsburgh way?
We are. I mean, it's a struggle, I will say, because it's hot. It's heck out there today, but glad to have you back. Your trip looked awesome.
It was fun.
So fun. And lots of good stuff there. So I can't wait to talk about that on Friday. But today we get to do my favorite thing, which is answer questions, because we have answers to the questions. I mean, and when we don't, we make them up and
right.
They tell other people, and pretty soon it's a rumor on one of those websites. So I love that.
That is correct. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, if enough people say it, it comes true. No, that isn't true. But it's so fun. So so what I want to do is hit some of these questions that are more current right off the bat. Daniel's got one here in our live Facebook chat as we record, excuse me, on the Facebook page. How soon should I get in line at Pop for the Skyliner to head to Hollywood Studios Wednesday morning in order to get a boarding group? All right, so this is going to be kind of stories, because again, I experienced this. I talked about this with our patrons this afternoon. I kind of did a quick one, and the story was there. So if you listened to that one already, I'll give you the nutshell version. Jennifer, who is one of my good friends here, listens to the podcast, patron supporter, everything. She's been with the show forever. She brings me Coke Zero when she finds it here. She lives in town, and I love that. She went down a couple weeks ago and she gave me the heads up, like, get in line for the Skyliner early if you want a boarding group. I was like, yeah, I know. But I mean, I've ridden the Skyliner so many times from Pop that I was like, not worried about it. You can get studios in 10 minutes. No big deal. Okay. So remember, Pop Century is the only value open right now. All Stars aren't, Art of Animation's not. Anyway, I tell Scott has a rental. Scott was there. We vacationed together. He'd been there for 2 months, 3 months. I don't know. I know he'd been there for a while though. But he came over. We came up with a plan the night before. We said we're going to the studios. Mallory's never been on the Skyliner. Mallory's never been to Galaxy's Edge. We're going to make it a studio. She loves Rock and Roller Coaster. We're going to have a good day. Everything's great. He's like, okay, I got a rental car. I'm going to come over to Pop Century. Usually he picks me up and we'd ride in his car to places, but he's like, we'll just ride the Skyliner from Pop Century, come back later. I was like, that sounds good. We'll have breakfast at Pop. So he comes over and we weren't sure if we were going to get breakfast or not because we were worried we weren't going to have time. Well, when I get with Scott, we always eat. So we decided to get breakfast. You got to mobile order it. Now here's the trick. Again, things to learn. These might not be your questions, but these things you need to know. You have to mobile order, but it's a different mobile order than it was in the past. You got to think about things. So what happens as soon as you go into mobile order, it gives you a pickup window and it might not be immediately. So for example, it was about 7:45 ish, but you're like the earliest mobile order window to pick up your food was like 8. So that means you can't even go back into the app until 8 o'clock to click, I'm here, start my order. And then it could be 10 or 15 minutes before the third bar lights up and the burgers quit flipping and you can go get your food. And they don't let you in until you have your, gives you proof that you have your food ready. And then you go and just pick up a bag. I put that on Instagram. It's really nice. Just grab your little grocery bag, everything's in there, get a table, you're set. It's really, even your drinks, because they just do bottled drinks. Very nice with that. But what that did was it put us about 20 minutes behind our scheduled plan. Cause of course I had to get the bounty platter. Can't get that on the go. Scott was smart. He got like a bagel, egg bagel or something that could have been on the go, but Emily got pancakes and Mallory got waffles. It was a mess. We ate them real quick, went out to the Skyliner. Okay. So if you've ever walked towards Hourglass Lake to get on the Skyliner from Pop, you go straight out into the middle of the lake. That's where you get on the Skyliner, halfway between the two resorts. Well, picture looking at the Skyliner. To your right is the 50s. To your left is the 70s and 80s. We see the people lined up all the way back towards the 60s, all the way down the path, past the 60s, all the way to the end of the 50s on the path. We're like, what's going on? This was at about 8:30 because Skyliner didn't start running until 9. Studios didn't open until 10. I'm like, okay, but I'm getting nervous because I got to get this boarding group for Mallory. She never ridden Rise. So anyway, we go get in line way down in the 50s. Soon as the Skyliner starts at 9, though, that thing gobbles people up at massive rates.
Yes, it does.
So long story short, we were on the Skyliner in like 20 minutes. It didn't take longer than that. We got our bucket. Somebody's asking about temperature in the Skyliner. Fine. And it was hot. But once you get moving, there's a really good breeze. It was never hot in the Skyliner, unless you stopped. It got a little warm. We rode the Scott, but here's the thing. Scott and I both at the same time, I think when we were on the gondola on the way from Pop to Caribbean Beach, where you make your transfer, I think it clicked for both of us. We're like, uh-oh. Because the thing is, because Epcot didn't open until 11. This is a whole different world. We're going to talk about this on Friday. With the studios opening at 10, Epcot opening at 11, most people are going to the studios at this point because it was like 9. So we know all these people are getting off at Caribbean Beach and transferring to the studios, but you're also going to add in people at Caribbean Beach going to the studios and the Riviera. So that happens. We get off at Caribbean Beach. They say, you're going to studios. Yeah, everybody is. They put you back. We were almost in Jamaica to get in line again for that hop to the studios. So we get in another long line. Then we're just like, we're not getting a boarding group. We're not, it's just not happening today. We'll try again at 2 o'clock instead of 10. So, again, the line moves rapid though. We're in a long line, but it moves quick. So anyway, we get up there, we get on the Skyliner, going to the studios 9:50. Okay. So this is just a tease, right? Like we had already written it off. Like, okay, 2 o'clock, that's what we're going to do. Nope. 9:50, we're over. We get off the Skyliner at like 9:54, 9:55. We still got to go through security. Emily's got a backpack. We're figuring out all the logistics. Scott's like, he's a good friend. Just leave me, bro. Just leave me. Mallory hasn't ridden it. We'll catch up to you. If we don't get Rise groups, we'll be fine. We've been on it. I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I will because I want to make sure Mallory gets on the ride. So run through security. Security was real quick. That was a zap you with the temperature. I was scared to death I'd be running hot because I was nervous. It was really hot. I had a black hat on. I was like, this is just not good. But anyway, I got through. Everybody got through, and got the security, everything. I looked down at my watch, 9:59. So I'm basically like sprinting. Mallory, get here. We're running to the touch points. Fortunately, nobody's in front of us. Went to the AP ones. Boop. I look down. It's 9:59:45. 45 seconds. Get in the app. We already had the app up. and just start clicking. And one of us, Scott and me, we were all clicking, all four of us on our phones. We got boarding group 38. We didn't get everybody in. Somehow Scott and I weren't linked as friends on My Disney Experience. We got that worked out later with guest relations, but we all got to ride it. But yeah, so long story, Daniel. If you don't want the stress, I would get out there early. Now you're going to sit out there. It's not real comfortable to sit out there, but it's less stress. But I did get in line at about 8:15 or so, but it was super stressful. You can't just roll in. It is said you can't just roll in. So I don't know what. Here's the thing, Pam. We thought about this and we had this discussion. I think it's a mistake that Disney's making the boarding group right at the exact time that the park opens. If they would push it back to 10:30 or something, it gives people time to get in and spread out. Because what happened was everybody stopped like immediately upon getting in where we were. There were a lot of people in the same boat, and it just didn't work out well for social distancing because obviously you're just going to try to get that boarding group. I wish like 10:30 and 2:30 I think might work better, but I don't know. They got to have a reason.
Yeah, I know. And I wonder what it is. It's interesting. I think too, though, they're also thinking, that 10:30 time is time that a lot of people were making it to the parks. You know what I mean? Like under normal circumstances, maybe they wanted to try to keep that number down. Who knows? We'll see how it keeps going. But from all reports, it seems to be going okay. The groups trying to get into them. I know that's a frustration for some folks, but I'm glad that they have the 2 times now from which to choose. So
yeah, I agree. And two, the thing is, that's going to be your most stressful thing of the entire week. That was the only really stressful time because we were never chasing a fast pass. We were never chasing an ADR.
Right.
We did some sit down meals. That was it. And then once we, 10:02, we were fine. Like we were going to Rock and Roller Coaster, 5-minute wait. Girls went and got Starbucks. I mean, it was a great day after that. It's just that initial, and it was all, we still got there, even though we made every mistake in the book. We waited too long to get in the Skyline line and we still made it. Now I wouldn't try to shake it within 15 seconds. We did, but don't do it. So yeah, just get there a little bit early and you'll see. I mean, you'll kind of figure it out when you get there. Let's see here. Matthew McGuire says, looks like there's limited dining right now. Did you do ADRs or did you go with the flow and do counter service? We kind of did both. When you're with Scott knows how to get some good meals. So we did some ADRs. We did. And here's also a tip when these parks close so dang early, like Magic Kingdom's closing at 7, Animal Kingdom at 6. This is going to change in September. It's going to get even earlier. Studios at 8, Epcot at 9. Scott is the king of getting that last, and this works for me even. I eat early. I eat with the seniors. I eat at like 4:00 typically, but
you eat early.
Snacks, right? You snack. So we had the last ADR our first night down there at Liberty Tree Tavern. We also had the last ADR at 50s the next night at the studios. We also hung out and talked with our servers for a long time, ate slow. We were leaving the parks at like hour and a half after park closing. You get some amazing pictures. We were the last ones in the Magic Kingdom. Then the next night, we were the last ones in the studios. We got all kinds, and they don't chase you really. I mean, you can take your time. I got tons of great pictures, and also the meal was great. Plus, when you're eating, especially in these times, there weren't many people still in the restaurant at that point. So if you're looking for social distancing, that was great. Now they do have limited menus. Like you're not going to get everything that you normally get. They don't give you a paper menu. You scan the QR code on your phone. They just put it in the middle of the table. Everybody scans it, and you'll notice, I mean, your favorite might be missing. Like I was telling Scott, I want to go over and get a Riviera burger at the Riviera. That's not available right now on the limited menu, so I can't do that. So, and also counter service, you got to be kind of creative too, because not every counter service is available. For example, Casey's has nothing in it. Like all the seats are gone in that section of Casey's. If you go to the end of the stores on the, that men's store towards the end of the Emporium side, I looked at Casey's. There's no seats, nothing. Can't go in there. It's blocked off. The ice cream shop's closed. Columbia Harbor House is closed. So you gotta really kind of rethink, and you got to hit that again. When you're mobile ordering, it's a little different than it was. You got to look, like what you want to do is put that in as soon as you can and pick your arrival window so you get the first pick. If you wait, like I'm starving, I want to get my food like in the next 10 minutes, your arrival window might be 45 minutes before you can even push that button to say I'm here. So that's something, I mean, Pam, you just gotta, I think it's harder for folks like us, not harder because we can figure things out, but we've gotten so good at the systems that you kind of, now it was like, oh wait, I got to rethink how I'm doing that slightly. I mean, we know the basics, but you gotta, it's like you almost have to take a refresher course on mobile ordering and stuff like that, because I had to think, okay, I'm going to do it later too, so I'm ready.
It is. And so the other thing to note with the mobile ordering is once you place the order, you also have to click the prepare my order, I'm here button once you are within striking distance of the restaurant so that they know to do that. So don't think that you place the mobile order and you're done. The I'm here, prepare my order is really, really important. So make sure that you do that too. But yeah, I mean, there are changes. I think that that's the thing. Overall, that will be the message that you hear from us 100 times. There are changes. That doesn't mean good or bad. It just means different. And in some ways good.
Yeah, so that's really gonna be the theme of a Friday show, because I mean, the title of it's gonna be a whole different world, you know, kind of like the Aladdin song. But you know, different doesn't mean good or bad. It was, I mean, there were some things like, you know, I couldn't go to Casey's. No, well, that's not a good thing. I mean, I want to go to Casey's and get some corn dog nuggets and cheese, but you know what? You know, also walk on Space Mountain, you know, like without a fast pass. I mean, so what's my corn dog nuggets worth? You know, walking on space. You know, it's like you gotta, which one's cooler? So we'll talk about that. Sue, this is a good question for you. This is just a guess. I mean, what do you think? She asked, do you think they'll bring back the gift card for opting out of mousekeeping? Because
I don't think so.
Well, mousekeeping's on a modified thing where they come every other day now for the regular hotels. What do you think?
I don't think that they will. No, I think that there are, you know, things that are, it's a different protocol. It's a different time. And I don't think that that's something that we'll see back right away because they just don't need to. They really just don't need to do it. So, and it was a trial. It was in a trial phase really anyways. It wasn't even at all the different resorts. So it wasn't at the deluxe resorts. It was actually only at the value and I think the moderate resorts. So, but not available at the deluxe. So I don't think that we'll see that anytime soon. I think they have, as they say, bigger issues to deal with, the housekeeping team. They're trying to keep us all safe and keep things clean and doing that. So
we'll talk about that on Friday too, but I felt the room was awesome when we got there.
Right. Agreed.
I took naps, so I missed housekeeping. Housekeeping never came in the whole 4 nights we were there because I was taking, I was in the room when they came by. So it was destroyed because we didn't have my wife with me. So by the end of, I mean, we didn't break anything or anything, but it was a mess, so I feel bad, but yeah. So anyway, Matthew says, would you recommend renting a car, sticking with Disney transportation? I felt totally comfortable on the buses, and we rode the buses all, we ride the buses. We're Pop Century people. We didn't have a car. Here's what I dreamed of on the buses for a decade. You have space. They have plexiglass dividers, and what they do is they put like, they section it out. So the back of the bus will have maybe a group of 6, like in a section where that 6 people can be together without being around any other party. They have like a couple of 2s. They have maybe a 3 and a 4. And they tell you there's like numbers 1 through 6. So like there might be like 4 number 2 stickers. And if they'll say, go to number 2. And so you got to sit in one of those number 2s out of the 4 seats. And so you're never within 6 feet of another party, and they can only put 6 parties on a bus at a time. But I'll tell you, the Magic Kingdom, one morning, we weren't going there that morning. We were going to the studios, but I was out there and there was a long, long line, but they did like Run Disney where they had 4 buses stacked, like boom, 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 boom. So it was, even though you're thinking, oh my gosh, 6 parties at a time, that's crazy. They were doing a great job of moving people out to get them to the Magic Kingdom because it's what you got to do. But it was really nice because you have space. I mean, you're not sitting on top of it. You're not close to it. Actually, you're probably not even like looking at anybody. That's how it was. Like it's really bizarre. The buses were fine. And of course, Skyliner's perfect. Like, social distancing. We rode the boats. They were fine. I mean, all Disney transportation.
I think that that has been a really great opportunity. I mean, there's a few things and we'll talk about this, I'm sure, but there's a few things they're doing better than they used to do before, right? And there are a few things where I was like, oh my gosh, they took that opportunity and they ran with it. They made it work. And I'm just, Disney ingenuity at its best, I will say. So
it was. Here's a good one for you because not sure about this. Sarah says, eyeing up the 2022 marathon weekend, is the 499-day advance room booking still a thing right now, or do timelines look different at this point? So have you had any conversations with Disney, like forward looking? Because right now we're stuck on that September 2021
Yes.
barrier.
And I think that's where we're going to be stuck for a while.
Okay.
I don't think that we'll be able to go past that point in time. And the reason, I think there's probably a couple different reasons. First of all, we're staring smack dab at the big anniversary, right?
Mhm.
We really, that will be a time when things are busy and a lot of people will want to be there. And depending on where we are, that'll be a struggle, really and truly, to be able to deal with the number of people who are going to want to be there during this really historic time. And I think they want to take a look at that. I think though too, they're sitting back to see where things will be at that point. You know, I think that that's really important for them to look at, and they're being so cautious and so safety conscious, and not just for the guests, but for their cast too, that I think they're really taking a thoughtful approach to it. And I think we'll maybe just have to step back a little bit and, you know, try not to be so wrapped in planning that far in advance. The good news is nobody else can make those reservations either. So we're all kind of in the same boat.
That's it. And you got to realize there's a very, very minuscule portion of the population that knows that October 1st, October 3rd, Halloween. No, October 1st of, 2021 is a historic date for Walt Disney World. I mean,
Truth.
we're in the bubble. So, some kind of a bubble, not the NBA bubble, but we're in a bubble where we think that everybody.
I don't want to be in the NBA bubble. Let me just put that out there.
Sorry for that also on Friday too. I didn't get in the bubble, by the way, just a spoiler, because everyone's like, oh my God, I might destroy the NBA season. No, I didn't. But we think everybody's like looking for that date. It's a very, the people that we know a lot of people are, but most people aren't. So,
Right.
Yeah, nobody else can book. So yeah, that's good. Here's one from Carrie. What do you think, or what do you love? This is going for you, Pam. What do you love about Grandestino? She's staying there with her 10-year-old in October.
Oh, how do I love thee? Let me count the way.
And again, it's one of those things. We can't stay there right now, so I love it even more. Like I looked at it from the bus. I love there's my Coronado Springs.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? I mean, so yeah, I love so much. First of all, full disclosure, Coronado, one of my favorite moderate resorts, even before they added Grandestino. And the reason why, and this sort of contributes to it, is first of all, it is just a beautiful setting. And since they've gave that zhuzh to it, right? We see new colors. I mean, it's lovely, really and truly. And even the rooms that are not in the tower are lovely. They have great dining options. They have great lounge options. It is set on that beautiful lake. And hello, now there's a lounge in the middle of that beautiful lake. I think that they built this just for me. I'm just going to say this.
Nice. It's so nice.
They said, "Dear Pam Forrester, we want you to stay here even more." So we built a lounge in the middle of our lake. And I was like, "Ooh, sign me up." So anyway,
it's like a mini Geyser Point, it's like
right?
Yeah, moderate, yeah,
and it's beautiful. It really, truly is. But Grandestino feels so much more than a moderate for not that much more. I will say the lobby is stunning, and when you walk in, my friends, take a big sniff because it smells good too. Whatever smell they're pumping into that lobby, it's just really a great hotel smell.
But will it smell as good after professional athletes have been staying there for 4 months? Like, I mean, if I had
they have a little spray, they're going around right now, like all the time. Spray.
I played a lot of sports, man. I played hockey, and you do not want hockey players. Like if hockey players were in that place, maybe
they're gonna hose it down and then whatever.
Baseball player. I played a lot of baseball. My former baseball, they stunk.
They're gonna respray, but yes, it will. I promise it will. The other thing is that those rooms feel even more deluxe than some of the deluxes. Let's be honest, they do. There's something about, I think, staying at a hotel that's sort of contained in one building. I think that is a different kind of experience. Plus, you still are within walking distance to all those other great amenities we talked about at Coronado Springs. But the room decor, the service, it just all feels good. I love that little Barcelona lounge that's available. That's actually in the below the lobby where you can go. They have great wine and other drinks, but they also have coffee drinks and and things that you can pick up in the morning. So it's a great location there. The other thing about Gran Destino, and we're going to have to see how this all shakes out as we move forward, but they also have a club level that's available to them. The only moderate that has club level service available, and it is a great club level too. Seriously, the staff is on point there. They do such a great job. The food offerings are wonderful too, so that's something you may want to consider. Finally, the views. The views from Gran Destino are spectacular. On one side, of course, you see Hollywood Studios, and you can see Galaxy's Edge, which is awesome. On the other side, of course, we had a view that extended from Animal Kingdom over to Magic Kingdom. It was spectacular. It really encompassed all of that. So loved that as well. It's just a great location. I think you'll enjoy it. And make sure you watch the Crazy Destino movie that they have playing in the lobby. It was a collaboration between Walt and, of course, why is the artist's name slipping from my mind? Dali. Walt and Salvador Dali. And if you know any kind of Dali art, he's the like the clocks melting guy that you see pictures of. It's a little out there, I will say, but you got to watch it. So awesome.
All right. And let's see the next. Jennifer's saying, because we're having a discussion. Yeah. And Carrie's saying, so with mobile order early. That's right. Joe's right. I mean, mostly the windows would be like 15 minutes, but I did see about, especially for breakfast at Pop, sometimes it'd be like 35 to 40 minutes from the current time, and time's of the essence in the morning. So you can't just, because I'm used to just rolling down to Pop and grabbing like a bagel or something and rolling, eating it on the bus. You can't do that. But I mean, it also made me have a good breakfast. So what are you going to do? Let's see here. We had another one, and Amanda said she was down last week and boarding groups are gone within 20 seconds on a Wednesday. So have your app open and ready. That is good tip. Pete says, rate from 1 to 10, how safe you felt overall. Flew Southwest last week, felt safe. For the most part, there's still some uneasiness and still stressed as I'm within that incubation period, but so far so good. The thing is, everybody's a little bit on edge right now, right? I mean, walking through my airport, we got the N95. We tried to do everything right. Paige bought, Mallory and I both N95, the white masks, the thicker ones. We wore those at the airport and on the airplane both ways. We wore the Disney mask, but I mean, again, I'm very laid back. I'm one of the people that, and I'm not saying everybody needs to be like me at all. Totally not. I mean, but I've just, in my life, I've been very lucky in many, many things. I mean, like I married a wife that I don't deserve, I've gotten jobs that I don't deserve. I've had really good experiences in life, and I just kind of go with the flow. And the thing is I took every precaution I could. I've been listening to folks that have been there. I've been watching, gotten firsthand advice from folks that are there, obviously through the show. I've texted a lot of people while they were there, learned as much as I could, and then just kind of did everything I could. I always had Purell in my pocket, Germex, little bottles, and it's everywhere on property, but I had it in my pocket. So if I ever need it, and I was always washing my hands. 1 to 10, how safe did I feel? I mean, it's like a lot of people have said, I felt safer than being out in the community. I didn't feel like 10. I didn't feel invincible. If I say 10, I'd feel like I was invincible. I didn't feel invincible. I mean, there's mistakes I could have made, but I would say I felt at least like an 8.5. I mean,
agreed. I flew, when I flew, I felt the same. So I felt as safe as I did flying prior to this, I will say. I truly did. On the plane, I will tell you, I took Clorox wipes, which I took prior to this.
Yep.
And I wiped down the things that I knew I was going to touch.
I never did that before, but Pam gave us Clorox wipes, like to take on. I was like, the tray, the chair, the armrest, the buckle, everything, the window.
That's it. Like anything I was going to touch, I did that. But that's what I did before. Typically when I get on a plane, this is even international flights, Steve laughs at me, but like I get in there and I just want to do what I'm going to do, which is I typically watch something on my iPad. I still bring it along, even if there's a television in the seat in front of me. I just want to watch what I want to watch. I want people to leave me alone. I don't want to talk to people. And I just want to focus on what I'm focusing on. And that's really how I felt when I got on the plane there too. The Southwest is still doing the middle seat open through the end of October. So that's something to take advantage of. There were literally 40 people on our flight when we flew down. I mean, it was low. So there's opportunities there in the space of not being exposed to all the other stuff you'd be exposed to if the flight was full too. felt really safe. Everyone was very respectful. And I think that the people who are traveling right now typically want to, for one reason or another, and they want to make it a safe environment. So I felt fine about that too.
Yep, totally. And he says, yeah, we had 70 on our flight, and a Southwest plane, a Boeing 737 holds 143, so it's flying, at like 67% capacity maximum, but probably most likely like 50% or less. Like last night, our connecting flight was going through to Omaha. 6 people were riding that sucker to Omaha. Can you believe that? Like, at first I thought they thought it was 2 people. I was like, how cool would that be to ride like 2 people on a flight? That'd be fun. But I mean, I wanted off that plane. I've been on that plane since 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Now I kept telling Mallory, this is our test if we could ever fly to Hawaii with everybody. My knees were hurt and they're jammed into that seat. Yeah. And Jennifer mentions, sorry, Pop fans, no tie-dyed cheesecake. That's right. They have no bakery items. Oh, bring back the bakers, please.
I know, right?
Yep. And WDW Aficionado says we ate a beer garden yesterday. Quietest beer garden ever. Had a great time and meal. I love that place. I did think about going there on our Epcot day because I've heard there's nobody there, and I do love
and they're still doing the entertainment too, which is awesome.
So I know that'd be like a personal that'd be kind of some things. Again, everything is so different. Like that would be awkward to me. Like it's like, okay, like should I get up and cheer the guy playing the bells? Like a golf clap because it's so empty. I don't know. But it's fun. I mean, it is. It's so
right. You just lean over and you're like, dude, that was awesome because it's you and them.
Like, dude, we're gonna socially distance, but you get bells like 11 through 13, so make sure you don't miss it. Yeah.
Virtual high five, my friends. So tell me, are y'all married? What's your backstory? Like maybe you can get a little bit.
Where do you buy your lederhosen?
I like your lederhosen.
That's exactly. Gary says, how late were the buses running after park closed? Did it work well with booking at ADR close to park close and still have Disney transport back to the resort? Disney knows. So here's the thing. They know if you're staying on site, if you're in the restaurant, I think, because we stayed forever in the Magic Kingdom. So the park closed at 7. I think we were walking down Main Street at 8:45. Scott can back me up here in the jet. It was late. It was starting to get dark. It was like that golden hour. Great pictures. Oh my gosh. But the thing was, there were buses because we were staying at Pop. There were buses at every single resort waiting, just sitting there. I guess that's where they park them for the night. But like if they asked us, like as we were walking out towards the buses, what hotel are you staying at? So I was like, Pop Century. So we just walked right onto a bus. They took us right there. We're the only ones on the bus. So they will get you where you got to go, even if they got to use something besides a bus. But they will. Let's see. Laurie says, how early did buses run before park opening and how late? So late. They say an hour after, but we had an ADR. Now, if you're messing around, you're not going to get on one, but they knew we had to ride back before, usually an hour before, right? Is that still the case? I think it is.
I think so too.
Yep. And how often do the buses run from Pop? Continuously. You got to wait like every 20 minutes, I think they say. Are the buses cleaned after each trip? They do. The bus driver did. Most of the trips go down with like a sprayer, like a, I don't know what you call it, like just the thing you would spray like you spray your plants with some kind of infectant, wiped it down. I mean, it wasn't like a thorough cleaning after every bus, but they did spray something. So that was that. What do you think about this? Nikki's asking. Nikki, our good friend over in the UK. God, I haven't seen Nikki and Mog in forever.
Aww, we miss y'all.
Totally. What about annual passes? Do you think we'll be able to purchase new annual passes here soon? Anytime? I think Disney's kind of riding this out to see how it goes.
I think not only can we not purchase annual passes, but the ticket limit on packages is, of course, 7 days as well. So that's what we're dealing with right now. Again, I think that they'll want to see what happens, after that point in time. I think we're in a wait and see time for that. I don't know that it'll open soon. We haven't gotten any word on that at all. So,
all right. Amber's asking, can you still resort hop? I want to ride the monorail from the Contemporary to the Grand Floridian to check out Be Our Guest, but wasn't sure if that's an option. I think she means Enchanted Rose, probably.
Enchanted Rose, yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, I mean, we took Skyline over the Riviera, walked around the Riviera. I mean,
it's eerie. It's eerie, actually. So it just is. The Grand Floridian's very dead right now. Very, very dead. So it's a weird place to be. It usually is so hopping in there, and it almost made me kind of sad when I was there.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. I mean, there's never anything bad with there not being a crowd there, but it was just interesting.
Yeah, the
Interesting
Polynesian
experience.
was the same way. We went there the other night because so the gardeners were staying at the Wilderness Lodge. They're staying at Boulder Ridge at the villas. And so one night we just decided to we took the boat over to the Magic Kingdom and just got on the monorail. So we rode the monorail over to the Polynesian, walked around, went in the stores, did all that. And we didn't go to the Grand Floridian. Well, we went past the Grand Floridian, but we just went back on the boat from the Magic Kingdom. But yeah, the Polynesian, same way, because the resort's not open. The villas are. There were people eating in Kona, though. I mean, but it was quiet. There was nobody down the lobby.
No, right.
It is. I mean, it's almost like a little unsettling because you're so used to like seeing people going here and there. And it was, you could get awesome pictures because there's nobody in the lobby. It's crazy, though.
It's true.
Let's see here. Let's see. Trying to get to the next one. Do I wear a mask in the grocery store? I don't go to the grocery store. I send my daughter, but we have to wear them now. We don't have in Missouri any mask mandates. We don't have any in our county, but individual businesses are starting to put them out. So we have those there.
And we do. We've had them all along here. So if we want to go anywhere, we have to wear a mask.
There you go. And Scott said, that's right. He was riding because he was leaving the Magic. We rode the bus back to Pop. They had to take a boat to Wilderness Lodge and they kept a boat waiting for them because they knew that he was, they knew he was staying there. So they left a boat there for him because they even knew him. Let's see here. Are the boats going from the Magic Kingdom to Fort Wilderness and Wilderness Lodge? Yes, we took those a few times.
They're still going there. Yes, but they are not going from the Contemporary to Fort Wilderness and Wilderness Lodge. So that's something to keep in mind. There was that little route that went from the Contemporary to those. So yeah.
All right, real quick. Adam says, this is from the Patreon group. I haven't seen this picture this close before. I posted that picture on Instagram it's just a selfie of Mallory and I in front of the newly painted castle. He says, does the castle look as phenomenal in person as it does in this picture? I will say that castle pops in the sunshine. It is really it, and I really love the old cat. And I keep wanting to call it the White Castle, but that just makes me want to have sliders from down the street. I love castles, but like I like change. Like it's just kind of fun to see things in like a different form. And those colors, man, especially that blue on the
I know it's like electric.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's that one gold spire. But that rose gold pink, whatever it is, it looks good. It looks, in the sun, man, it is pops. I mean, this is part of me thinks they did that for like social media because it's going to pop more on pictures, and it does. I mean, it pops. I mean, it's beautiful.
I think it's more spectacular in person than anyone has been able to catch. Yeah. You know what I mean? In a photo, it's just one of those things that like, it looks good in photos, but it looks great in person. So it is amazing.
Yeah.
And the good news is it's not permanent for those who don't like it. So
I don't know. Like I want to kind of keep it for a while. I like it. I really do. And I wasn't like all sold on it yet. I was like, I don't know. It's kind of pinky. I liked it. I thought it was
sharp. It is.
See Marlessa from the Patreon. Is Disney enforcing social distancing for the restrooms, like markers on the ground, limiting the amount of people in at a time? And do they seem as clean as the rest of the park on this? I'll tell you what, if you're looking for cleanliness, Jennifer said this earlier, like it's super clean. There's always people cleaning. It's crazy. And I also talked about this on the Patreon. We had a live thing earlier today. Men's restrooms were never busy, and there's like a code with men, like with urinals. Like I've social distanced my entire life because you just never go to the urinal next to a guy that's taking care of it. Like you have to be at least one stall away anyway. Like we've always had that. Like that's an unspoken rule in men. I don't know how the ladies' restrooms work because they tend to get busier, but I never saw like lines or anything. So I don't know.
The real issue here, and I think this is really hard to communicate other than to just say it, that there are so few people there that this isn't really an issue.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. Because Disney restrooms are huge. There's lots to go.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. It's not like you're not going to find, unless you go like to in the counter service in Japan, I think is closed, that like the 2-stall restroom,
right.
It's not right.
Right. You could like, that little scene in Monsters Inc. where Boo is in the restroom and she's singing. Like you could have your own little Boo scene because you're going to be in there by yourself, probably.
All right, last question of the day, and again, we'll have more questions next week. If you guys have any follow-ups, we'll do that because obviously we can keep talking about this. Laurie, because here's the question I got the most over the last 72 hours. She says, love those masks. Hope they still have some cool masks when I go back in October. So glad you guys had a great time. Can't wait to hear about it. So everybody's asking about the masks. The masks are high quality masks. And I know that Disney botched the first batch, right? I didn't order any, but I know a lot of people ordered them on Shop Disney, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They're too small. Every person that I knew got two small ones. These fit like a glove. But the question is, I kept asking Scott this because Scott had been there way before me and he had a bunch of them already. I'm like, dude, I don't know what size I wear in a mask. Like, who knows what size you wear in a mask? Like, because I went to get one. I'm like, dude, am I a medium? Am I an extra large? I don't know. Like, right. I do not know. So I got a large. It fit totally fine. So if you have a head like this, a large. Mallory wore a medium. Again, she's 12, but she's tall. She's pretty much adult size head, I guess. But they fit fine. They are thick. I mean, they've made them intentionally, I think, thick to keep everybody safe.
Mm-hmm.
You'll feel it, but they're more comfortable. Like I had an Instagram, or one I bought on Instagram, Mizzou ones, a set of 3, and they were kind of made out of a foamy material, and they were like they were like right in my mouth all the time and like up my nostrils. Like the good news about the Disney ones is they have kind of a band where it seals you in, like elastic around your chin, around your nose, and your cheeks. But what that does by like kind of sealing you in, it kind of lets the mask as you're breathing and talking kind of poof out a little bit. So it's not all in your nostrils, in your mouth. It gives you like a little pocket there to breathe. So they were actually comfortable. And the thing is, Disney's not dumb. As we were there just for 5 days, they came out with new designs. And it's kind of the thing too. Like you'll see people with like the new design. Oh, I haven't seen that one yet. And then you go to they're at every store and they're going to be there in October. They're going to be there as long as this mask mandates. And so I know a lot of people get worried like, oh my gosh, my trip's in 2 months. I'm not going to be able to get in on this craze. No, you'll be able to get these and they're everywhere. And they're $6. Like I think we talked about this, like the reasonable $6.
Absolutely reasonable. I was honestly pleasantly surprised at the price. Truly, I am. So, and they are quality masks. You can feel safe, wearing them other places as well. So, yeah, absolutely. I think they're awesome.
It's a perfect souvenir to bring home because everybody needs them now. Most places. I mean, think about this, like a $6 souvenir, and it's kind of the hot item because, like you can get these right now at Walt Disney World. Can't get them anywhere else. You have Disney fans at home. You have some in your house. Buy these, and they're so simple to pack. Like you could buy 20 of them and like put them in your pocket. Like I'm just telling you, pro tip, perfect souvenir.
Tip for life.
I hope we don't need them very much longer, but that's one of those things. Like it's a sign of the times. I'm hoping 2 years from now, I have a mask hanging on my, on my bookcase. Like we got to remember things. I mean, 2020 has been a bummer in so many ways, but it'll be an indication of the time, the thing is like that mask will remind me of the trip I took with Mallory, our first father-daughter trip, just her and I, and we had a blast. I mean, even though we had to wear a mask, so we'll get it done. All right. So that's going to do it for today. We'll be back again on Friday. No show tomorrow, but on Friday, we're going to be talking about the details of the trip, more stories, not necessarily questions, but kind of talking about what I missed, what I liked better, what I didn't like better, what things I had to rethink in my mind. I had to retrain myself on a lot of stuff. So we'll talk about that on Friday. So don't forget, you can follow the show on Instagram and Twitter at BRGuestMike and at BRGuestPod. And of course, Facebook.com/BRGuestPodcast. And also the shows are always on YouTube at YouTube.com/BRGuestPodcast as well, if you want to see the video. Today's show, of course, brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. I'm telling you, and I'm not just saying this as a travel agent, I'm telling you this as a Disney fan. It's a really good time to get down there. Things are different, but I'm telling you, if you saw my Instagram, you saw my social media, maybe you can hear it in my voice. You'll hear it on Friday. Mallory and I had so much fun. We really did. I mean, we were excited to be back in an airplane. We were excited to be back on Main Street. We were excited to be at the studios, riding the Skyliner, Pop Century. We had a blast, and you can do the same. Great deals out there right now. We just want to help you get down to your favorite place when the time's right. If you want to hold off till 2021, I respect that. Let's plan it. Let's get it on the books. But if you want to go down in September and have a blast, you can get so much done right now. And it's really cool I can't believe I'm saying this. It's awesome without fast passes. It is really kind of fun. So if you want to do that, drop by the Magic for Less, fill out that quote form, put the Be Our Guest podcast in there. I'll be planning with you. We'll get you squared away. I can answer any questions you have. Just got back. So let's do it. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also support the show with our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. You want some more content? Become a patron, patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. All right, time to get out of here. We'll be back again on Friday talking about the trip. Fun stories from 5 days, 4 nights down at Pop Century in August. So until then, for Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All right, let me save that one.
Boom. I love the questions that people have, that people have about this process. It's interesting to see how that goes, really and truly. It's interesting to see how people are thinking about these trips. So
it is. It's one of those things too. Okay, your cracker. I'm getting the shakes. You just have to be a little bit flexible. But then again, like you lose some flexibility without being able to hop. Like I'm used to just jumping over somewhere and eating.
I getcha. I was just reading an article. I know someone had asked about the airplane thing, that even the CDC says that transmission through flying seems pretty not likely. They said.
That's what I keep telling myself. I was having a discussion with my wife. Like, if it was a major thing to fly, this is just, again, opinion, but if it was that big a deal flying, there's quite a few people flying, and you would hear about it on the news. Like if people were getting sick on planes, like it would be like
right
story every hour on the news.
No, it has to do a lot with how the airplanes actually circulate and filter the air. It goes through some kind of circulation up to X number of times per hour, but then it also filters through a HEPA filter, which removes so many of the particles. So, I mean, just, again, we say this often, but I feel less safe going to my local grocery store, I will say. And that's even here in Pennsylvania, people are wearing masks, but I will tell you, this lady saddled up to me the other day. Like I was looking at this, like of all things, like this Greek salad dressing or something. This lady rolls up to me, like practically is touching me. And she's like, you can make that yourself. And I'm like, okay, first of all,
I don't
back off.
You're in my bubble. Get out of my NBA bubble.
And secondly, I just want to buy something. Thank you very much. Like I have another full-time job. Salad dressing maker is not what I want to do right now. So anyways, I'm going to support this lovely company that made this dressing for me. I mean, it was the weirdest interaction. I would just like, the grocery store is where you have your weird interactions anyways, right?
I kind of miss the grocery store. I haven't been there in ages.
Yeah, people are still odd, honestly.
No, I mean, that's par for the course.
At Disney, in those locations, at least stuff like that's not happening to you. People telling you can make your own salad dressing.
Now Greek salad sounds kind of good.
Yeah, right. Not when some strangers like practically touching you, telling you how you can make the dressing.
Didn't somebody like in 80s sitcoms always say back off? Like that's totally.
That's how I want it to be.
Back off.
Like Steve and I were actually there together, and he was like, this dressing was in the produce section. It was a cold dressing, and like he was over like picking out some avocados or something, and he came up to me and he's like, "What went on there with you and that lady?" And I'm like,
"She vibed with your 6 feet.
She was in my space."
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. Is like, people are going to walk up. I mean, the thing is, you're not, well, I mean, I'll say this one more time Friday, but like, you are not going to stay 6 feet away from people constantly. Like people are going to get into your bubble. But the thing is, they got on a mask, you got on a mask, and you just like dodge, like
plus they aren't typically like talking to you either.
No, they're just passing. And I mean, I could stay in my house and never get contaminated, but that's so boring.
Oh,
So
I'm over that. So I will tell you that. My heart misses the traveling.
oh my God, I had so much fun. Like, it was just like, I realized when I got home, because immediately we sit down, I got Taco Bell on the way home. Like, by the way, I go to get my chili cheese burrito at 11 o'clock at the drive-thru. Sir, we're out of chili. I'm like, you got me, oh, dude. And then my one menu item's gone anyway. But so I get home, and of course, first thing we turn on the news, and it's all about the COVID numbers again. I'm like, I hadn't seen COVID numbers in 5 days. It was amazing. Not that I, deny that it's happening, but it's like that's all I've heard since March.
Right.
Nice to not hear it.
Well, when I was out of the office a couple weeks ago, I actually had a well visit with my doctor via FaceTime, and he asked me what I was up to and blah blah blah. We had a conversation about that. It was funny. I told him I feel like there's a part of my brain that has missed the challenges and opportunities that traveling brings to you, right? It challenges your brain. Like doing the same thing in and out every day doesn't challenge your brain all that much, right? Mm-hmm. But travel does, not just challenges it, but it excites it, I think, too. So we were talking a lot about that. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah,
it was. It's good to be back out, even packing a suitcase and going through.
Yes, right. All my stuff, all my traveling stuff missed me.
Yeah. So, I mean, like just interacting with the waiter, like at the restaurants, like it was so fun. Like, I missed that.
Right.
So I got the pictures pulled up. Okay. So here we go. I got to send a shout out to my guys, Danner and Ryder, that I got to meet briefly.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think. Oh, let me know real quick, Jenny. Are you guys in? They had Oklahoma. They had OU jerseys on, but I think they're from Texas. Let me know by the time I'll shout it out, but let me know real quick because we're getting ready to start here. Okay, so I'll just kind of I'll go through my pictures and just share some stories because I said a lot of it. But yeah. Okay, here we go. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to. Wait, did I say that? What did I say wrong? How do I start the shows? Now I can't remember. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to. Do I say
no?
No, I don't say it. No, I say that for the live shows. Welcome to episode. Yeah, that's what I say. I can't remember. Okay, they're in Oklahoma. Good. I don't know why I was thinking Dallas. Okay, here we go. Like I've not done this before. Crap. Welcome to episode 1746 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. So glad to be back in the office. Booking those trips. We're getting folks down to Walt Disney World this fall, and I'm telling you, you're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about that this show. It's a whole different world is what we're talking about today, and it's different. Doesn't necessarily. Pam said it on a Wednesday show. It doesn't necessarily mean better or worse. It's just a little different right now, which was kind of exciting to see my favorite place in a different way and had to navigate things in a different way. Especially when I was traveling for the first time with my daughter, Mallory. Of course, we gone many times with our full family and with friends, but it was just her and I on this trip. So we had a good time. I turned a lot of the reins over to her because she's been so many times and she ran with it. And we'll talk about that today. But joining me for this conversation, we have Pam Forrester, co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. Pam, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. We're glad to have you back, but it looked like you had such a great time. So we've chatted a little bit about it, but I can't wait to hear all the details.
Let's get into the deets. And also Monday, we're going to wrap this up with live recordings we had from Walt Disney World each night. We gave our instant feedback on the day as we got back to the hotel. So we have one of those shows heading your way on Monday. But until then, let's recap what we did. So of course we went down just so you know, we were down there August 5th to the 9th, arrived on a Wednesday afternoon, about 3:00, and then flew out on Sunday night around 9:00. We'll talk about that on the show, I'm sure, but we got delayed by weather. But quick little hit to Pop Century, had a good time. So we're gonna kind of talk about how things are different. I want to kind of hit some major notes off the bat. So real quick, let's hit the resort stay at Pop Century. So when we arrived, we took Magical Express. Magical Express was totally fine. You do have to be prepared because there's a sign there that says your wait time could be 60 minutes from this point. So that kind of takes your breath away when you first see that. If somebody's gone to Magical Express many times, like, oh, I don't want to wait an hour. I've just been on a plane for 2 or 3 hours. I just want to get it going. I want to be on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
We got lucky. So we did, we used our magic band, scanned in like always. You do have to pick up your own bags from the carousel. Real lucky. Like we got to the carousel, our bags were already coming around, grabbed them, went over to the other side, scanned through. Our bus was waiting. We got on. They told us, they told you where to sit. They said, skip a row, get in. We're loading from the back to the front. As soon as we sat down, took off, Pop Century's first stop, got there. Here was one of the cool things, Pam, and this is why I love Disney. And some people say this stuff has gone away over the last decade, over the last 5 years, what have you. This almost choked me up, okay? Because I was super excited to take this trip with Mallory. We'd missed so many things. She missed cheerleading, Cardinal baseball's in the toilet right now, because of COVID. We're not getting, we thought we were going to get baseball games. We're not even getting that. So we were excited to escape. We ride over, we're super excited on the bus, talking about everything we're going to do because we don't have ADRs. So we know we're going to the Magic Kingdom on this Wednesday of Arrival Day. We talk like, what do you want to do? Like, what do we want to ride? Because we don't have any plans. So we're getting all pumped up, just like, kind of like a first trip. It was really weird. But we get to Pop Century, you pull under the porte cochere, right? the drop off.
Yes.
Yes. And they get computery. No, they didn't. I got to hit the bell. I just had to say it. So we're getting off the bus, the Magical Express bus at Pop Century. Remember, a value resort, mind you. We're not fancy high rollers here. 4 or 5 of the Bell services folks are standing there, and it is smoking hot. 3:00 in the afternoon. They're cheering us. Welcome back. We're so glad you came back. Thanks for coming. We're going to have the best day ever. They're cheering us. And like this raucous, like it's only 4 or 5 guys, but you're under that canopy. So it's kind of echoey. Like it almost brought a tear to my eye because this was like my first step back on Disney property since it had been closed. And I've been missing this so much over the last 4 or 5 months. And they were honestly, I swear, they were genuinely excited to have people getting off that bus, staying at their hotel. I mean, is that not what Disney's about, Pam? I mean, that got everything off on the right foot.
It warms my heart. It truly, truly does. And that's the thing. Sorry, I touched my watch. Did you hear that? Mickey was all excited for me. It really does warm my heart that I think there's so many cast members who are excited to have you back. They love this place. I mean, they love Walt Disney World, which is why so many of them work there and they feel that magic. They breathe that magic. They're part of what makes it so magical. And I love that they're pumped up enough about this to want to see people come back. I mean, really and truly, you really like your job when you see the people coming in to basically make you do your job and you're excited about it, right? You're just like, I'm just so pumped to get to do this again. So
yeah. Awesome. Also, I mean, this is kind of out of order, but as we were leaving, we had our bags, we're waiting for Magical Express, and you go out that exit, you got to go across the way at Pop Century and sit on the bench because the pickup bus is on the other side. LC, he was a Bell Services gentleman from Pop Century working on Sunday, the 9th, from Lansing, Michigan, actually, Scott. He stopped me and he said, hey, come here. So we're, rolling our bags out. I'm like, yeah, what's going on? He's like, I just want to stop you and just say, I hope you had a great time. Really, thanks for coming back. I know this isn't the normal times. He said, thanks for coming back. Hope you had a great time and hope it's not that long until you're back. I'm almost crying right now because he stopped me. Like he didn't have to, like his job was done. Like he knew another bus was coming in 15 minutes, and they're going to go because everybody's having the beginning of their trip. But it was my last interaction with a cast member before getting on Magical Express, and LC stopped to say, did you have a good time? Thanks for coming. I know that you didn't, it was like, and it was hotter than anything. Like the heat index was over 100 degrees and they're hauling bags, like it's a very physically demanding job. Yet he took the time and that stuck with me even till right now. Like it's like in my heart that he cared enough to say, thanks for coming. I mean, it doesn't take much, but that meant the world.
That's awesome. I just love it. I think that's just further, demonstration of the cast members and how passionate they are to get to do what they do. It's just, it's a special kind of place that inspires that. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it's an appreciation. You saw that from your servers. You saw that from PhotoPass. They're just so glad to be doing their jobs, which was awesome. So we talk about the flight, only 70 people down, so you're going to have different things. How's it different? you have more space. You do have to kind of, I would definitely, because kind of the topic of the show is what's different. Have, like I said, on Wednesday, have wipes. You'll make yourself feel more comfortable. You can bring actually larger bottles of hand sanitizer now. I think up to 12 ounces. Don't quote me on that. But the little bottles are sufficient. The like 2 or 3 little ounce bottles of Germex. Keep that in your pocket. Airport, Orlando International, never seen it as empty. That place is always hopping, dude. It's empty. But Pop Century, the room, which was different, was the remote was bagged. Everything looks super, but I mean, it always looks super fresh. Like I didn't notice really a lot different other than the bagged remote, because the room always, sharp, clean, crisp sheets. Bathroom looked great. They did over the body soap and the shampoo and conditioner. There's a little plastic thing that said clean. You knew people hadn't touched that. But I mean, I was at first, I was like, do I sleep on the pillows and do I use the sheets? Oh, it's fine. You get back your first night, you're exhausted. You don't care, because I mean, it was clean. Like, again, this is how I see things. If people were dropping with COVID from staying in hotels, you would be hearing about it, because there's a lot of people in hotels all over the country, all over the world right now. I felt safe. I think it's more of an aerosol thing that you got to be careful of.
Agreed. Yeah, it's not really transmitted through some of the things. There's been a lot of research about how it's transmitted, and I am certainly not an epidemiologist or a contagious medicine specialist, but I think that there's little chance for that in terms of catching it from surfaces and things like that. So
we did go to the Magic Kingdom 3:00 in the afternoon. So again, the Magic Kingdom closed at 7, and this is on a Wednesday. It was weird because we were the only people on the bus going over. We got a private bus from Pop Century, Mallory and I. We met up with Scott and his family at the Magic Kingdom. Walking up, there's nobody at the touch points. We walked right through there. I mean, I see all these pictures with nobody in front of the train station for our selfie. Just low crowds if you go mid-afternoon and just kind of close out the park. It was amazing. Got to see one of those little character cavalcade floats go by in Frontierland. Those are pretty sweet. You know what? It's nice because it doesn't interrupt a big chunk of your day, and you get to see the characters, like a little taste of a parade every now and then. It's kind of like they say with like dieting, if you snack throughout the day, you don't get hungry. Like, like almost like a full parade right now seems like you're gorging yourself, like just get a little hit every now and then, and you're going to be, your day is kind of more complete. I like that idea. I don't know how you see it.
I love this. Are you kidding me? First of all, I don't have to get there and stand for an hour or sit on the curb for an hour, and then I still get to see some of the characters. And by the way, they've been pulling out some awesome characters for this, and not only the types of characters that they have, but the things that they have the characters doing. Like, first of all, not just a character cavalcade, but like Winnie the Pooh, like frolicking in the field with his butterfly net, and Joy from Inside Out doing the same kind of thing. And then to have Merida from Brave or Gaston riding a horse, like those are things we didn't get to see prior to this. And again, this is a great example of an opportunity. Like, Disney took this opportunity and they were like, I'm sure there were meetings about it, and they were like, okay, our guests want to somehow interact with the characters. We want to do it safely, figure out how to do it. And they did it.
They did. And
it's a plus. It's like plussed up in my book. So
yeah, these have to stay, because I mean, they're getting just rave reviews,
right?
And it was great because, like, we heard it. We were just walking through Frontierland I think we went on Haunted Mansion. We were heading back to Splash and Big Thunder, and here, we heard the music. Here it comes, and the thing was, we just like stopped. It passed us literally in 1 minute. We got a bunch of good pictures. It was
right.
Mickey Pluto on a float with music, and a few dancers in the front, a few dancers in the back, and bam! Like in 2 minutes, like we had pictures. We had, we waved to Mickey. We saw some dancers, and we were on our way. Like, it was great.
I know. It was great. And they do interact with you.
They do.
It's not just a vague waving out to the crowd. Like, Disney characters are the best at this. They like pick people out and make you feel as if you've been personally waved to. So anyways, it's awesome.
Agreed. And so we just, we did a ton of rides that day. Hardly any waits, no issues like that. You're just not close to anybody on any ride. Splash Mountain, you're on your own log, or you have somebody way in the back. Big Thunder, like every other row. You've all seen that stuff, so we don't really need to get into that. But I felt totally comfortable. But it was like kid in a candy store, because it was our first day. We're at the Magic Kingdom with no weights. Like, it was, I couldn't believe it. Like, we walked on Space Mountain. I'd heard people say they had done that, and I don't know how long it's gonna last, because obviously everybody listening to this show, everybody listening to all the other shows, seeing all the social media stuff, everybody's gonna try to get down there, which I would encourage you to do. But it was unreal. Like, I had the biggest smile. Like, I cannot, like, I'm like stealing. Like, I'm going on Space Mountain without waiting an hour and no fast pass. It's crazy. So I will say, the thing that's different though is that day we had an 80 Scott scheduling. He texted me as we were on Magical Express, like, what are you gonna do for dinner tonight? I was like, oh, I was gonna pick up some car service somewhere. He's like, well, I made an 80 at Liberty Tree Tavern for us if you want to come. I was like, well, yeah, Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah. So we all went to and ate at Liberty Tree Tavern, because people were asking about like what the meals look like. They don't book all the tables. They socially distance all the tables. And what was interesting, Joe Laszlo had told me this before I went down. We actually ate dinner over in the Diamond Horseshoe Review building next door. Like, they're seating there to get more space. So we had nobody around us. There were like 6 maybe other tables in that whole big area eating at the same time, very end of the night. Sandy was our server. Scott had her before in the trip. This is the second time he had her. She's awesome. So shout out to Sandy. I know she listens to the show now. Hope you're having a good time over at Liberty Tree. We will get a public sub. She keeps telling us to get a public sub. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, meal was great. Food was great. Quality was great. What's interesting though is that what's different is they're training servers. Like, she was training a server, but it's not like a new server. He had worked at Cinderella's Royal Table for 20 years, but it's just a new for him because he's not that's not open right now. So and again, what I'm seeing is, and I don't know, Pam, if you have any info on this, with your connections with Disney, but obviously we don't have college program going on. We don't have the cultural exchange program going on. So what you're seeing is a lot of people that have been there a lot of years. Like, you're seeing full-timers that are really good at what they do everywhere, is what I was noticing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there is just a lot of cast members that have been with the company for forever. They've seen this kind of thing. And I think they got to, the first cast members that were called back were it was a voluntary callback, right? It was like people signed up to do it. So these are people who have a true investment in this company. And I think that they love what they do and they know how to do it. So
absolutely. And so here's the first thing that hit me about what's different in Walt Disney World was when we got out of there at, like I said, like 8:30, the park closed at 7. We had that last ADR. We lingered. We just wanted to we took so many pictures at the castle and at the partner statue because it was so weird. We were the last ones in the park walking out and it wasn't dark, like that's weird.
Right.
When do you get to be the last one in the park when it's light outside? It was
crazy.
It was like we're living in the Twilight Zone. So after we got on that bus, and private bus again, back to Pop Century, Mallory and I, again, it was like 9 o'clock. But the problem here's something to think about at Pop Century. All 3 pools at Pop Century close at 9 o'clock. So we couldn't do like a swim like we used to, like maybe till midnight. It used to be like home, it's hot, get home from the park, do a little 30-minute dip to kind of cool down before bed. Couldn't do it. Pools closed at 9. So we're like, it wasn't 9 yet. It was like 8:45. It was like 8:30, 8:45. It wasn't enough time to get in the pool. So we're like, what do? We don't want to go to bed at 9 o'clock. Even me. I mean, I'm old. Like, I go to bed early, but I didn't want to go to bed then. So Mallory never been on the Skyliner. So we're trying to find something to do. So being at Pop Century, we just hopped the Skyliner and we took it all the way to Caribbean Beach, transferred, and went to Epcot. We did run into one issue. Epcot closed right as we got there. So there was kind of a long line. It goes fast. It took like 15 minutes. Mallory's like, oh, you just got us in a long line. I was like, yeah, I did. But it went fast. We had nothing else. Like I said, what else are we going to do? So we got back in line and took it back. We got off at the Riviera, walked around the Riviera. Again, that's an opportunity because, again, Mallory hadn't seen the Riviera Hotel and she's like obsessed with it. I don't know why. She just loves the way it looks. She's like all into like style and fashion and stuff.
Oh, because Pam Forrester has rubbed off on Mallory.
Exactly. Thank you. You're going to cost me so much money. I try to train my kids at the All-Stars and Pop Century rock, and then you're all the Riviera stuff, and Scott too. So anyway, yeah. So, but I mean, the thing is, like, you got to look for like little ways to fill in, these times. And so what we did, we walked around the Riviera. We kind of looked at that stuff, but also it gave her an opportunity. If you go to the Riviera and you're just kind of hopping from Pop Century Caribbean Beach, they have that loading area at the Riv where it has that like Instagrammable walls of like Tangled and is it Frozen and Peter Pan, those arches.
Yes, it is.
Out of that.
Yeah,
That
it's Tangled. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah. I mean, you got to look for things like that. I mean, because she wouldn't, in a normal trip, we wouldn't have taken the time to go to an Instagram wall, but we had nothing else to do. You got to find something to do before bed. We had fun riding the Skyliner. It's like a ride. She got to see some Instagram pictures, got to see the Riviera tour resort she'd never been to, look at the pools, and it was fun. I mean, you do got to be creative in that though.
Yeah, for sure. And again, every time we get to experience Disney, we're looking to do different things. And we always are telling people, slow down. If you do slow down, you'll take the opportunity to get to do some things that you've never done before, or that you've always wanted to do, or that you've wanted to spend more time doing. And I think this is sort of a forced slowdown for all of us, right? I mean, this really was, Disney didn't always stay open really late. It was, it was a way that it sort of used to be. And I think that it's really interesting that so many people are getting to experience this.
It is. It for Disney fans, it's a historic time to get down there and to see how things are different. So
yeah.
That's that. Okay. So the next morning I get up to run my first run on Thursday morning. So here's how that's different. At Pop Century, you can't run all the way around Hourglass Lake. It is the wall at each end after the, where you would go from Pop Century to Art of Animation at both ends. So I just made a loop. You can look at, if you're a runner, you can look at my run keeper. I just would veer out into the parking lot, and there's no, the parking lots are virtually empty. There's not a lot of cars in them. So I just run the perimeter of the parking lot. I ran from the very end of the path all the way back to the 90s telephone and ran back, and then did the same. I'd run to the Little Mermaid rooms. By the way, it looks like they're remodeling the Little Mermaid rooms. I'm guessing like Pop Century, maybe. There's a lot of stuff going on over there. So
see, you're starting a rumor.
There you go. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on. There were stickers in the windows. I'm just saying.
Right.
And I didn't get caught. So that was different. Something to think about. I did 9 miles each morning. So you can, even without the path being open, you can get creative and get your miles in no matter how many training miles you have. The next morning, I talked about the boarding group story on Wednesday's show. Skyliner, get there early. That's something you got to think about if you're going over to the studios. I got to do Mickey. No spoilers, so don't worry. I got to do Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway for the first time.
So cool, right?
I didn't know if I was going to like it because, again, I love the Great Movie Ride. I was a bitter Betty, but I liked it. It was neat. It was a really cool. We did it twice.
They did such a good job with it. It just, first of all, it doesn't feel like you're in the same attraction, right?
No. Well, the second Scott got me on this one because he's like, after I wrote it the first time, then I'm trying to figure out like where I am in the old building. Like, am I
right?
Scene?
I get it.
Big ending scene, like what room am I in? I'm in the Wizard of Oz room, like, and then I was like, oh man, I found it. Well, I don't want to give it a spoiler. We'll wait a while, but I found something I think tied back to the Great Movie Ride. Pretty cool.
But I think they just did it. It just was enchanting, I think, is the way I think about that attraction, that it's so much better than I thought it would be. And I liked it so much more than I thought I would. So absolutely. It's one of my favorites now. I want to do it again and again. So
another thing that's different is I didn't know how I would feel about getting pictures because you got the mask on, right? You're wearing underwear on your face. Like, like how much do I want to have a picture of me and Mallory and, my buddies and everything? Like we all got these things over our face. Like you can't smile. I mean, you can. Mallory she swears, you smile with your eyes now, Dad. Like you can see by your eyes if you're smiling or not, which I guess maybe you can, maybe you can't. But there's PhotoPass opportunities all over the place, especially if you're an AP holder that's built into your cost. We got a lot of amazing PhotoPass shots from our photographers because, again, in a pandemic, you have an opportunity. For example, the day we were at Animal Kingdom, just jumping ahead a little bit, we had this photographer. He was so excited to take our pictures, was asking us all the questions, where we're from and all that, just wanted to talk. But the thing was, he told us, he's like, you're never going to get this picture again, so get ready. We're in front of the Tree of Life. There's all 5 of us, Mallory and I, Scott, Elizabeth, and Emily. He said, put your arms out 6 feet, like as far as you can, and spread out. There was nobody behind us. There's nobody in the picture. And all 6 of us are stretched out as far as we can get, like socially distanced. It's a picture that denotes the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like, why do you have your arms out and you got all that space between you? because we were social distancing at Animal Kingdom and there's nobody in the shot. So I think, yeah, do stop, because if you don't like the pictures, who cares? Just don't use them. But we got some really, really good shots, even with the masks on, because I was kind of curious about that. I don't know how you feel, but do I want to remember this? Do I want images? But we did.
It's a moment in time, and it's what was actually going on at that time. And again, I think that this is another opportunity that Disney sort of embraced, because they do have some new photo pass shots out there. And I love to see that too. And the other thing that I think is really cool is in all those shots where like you would stand there and then like the camera would like zoom in on you, it shows the overall crowd, and that so interesting to see people who are comparing and contrasting those to ones they had taken just a few months ago. You see the crowds, you see the lack of crowds at this point. So that's really cool.
So real quick, because I was going to do this at the top of the show, but I made sure that they were listening at least 25 minutes in. I got to give a shout out to my guys that I met at Pop Century, Danner and Ryder from Oklahoma, and their mom, Jenny. They were down there and having a great time. Jenny said they had a blast, at the pool. She actually, let's see if I can find her comment she put in here earlier. She said probably one of the most productive and relaxing Disney trips her boys and she had ever had. They did all of Epcot and Animal Kingdom in about 4 or 5 hours each, then had swim time at the pool. That's exactly it. I mean, you think short park hours, like, oh my gosh, I'm only going to get a quarter of the stuff done. Without crowds, you get so much done so fast. You're just like, what do I do now? It's great. It's a good point. So I'm glad they had a good time. Thanks for listening down in Oklahoma. But here again, what's different? I always like hug people, when I meet them for the first time, handshake, I felt awkward when I met these, I met a few listeners throughout the trip, and it was like, it's so awkward because I don't want to invade anybody's bubble. It's like, hey, how you do? Hi, how you doing? From over here, thanks for listening to the show. I mean, it's that world we're living in, but I do appreciate everybody that came up and said hello. That was awesome. And if it was awkward, I'm awkward anyway, but in the middle of a pandemic, I'm super awkward. So that's how that went. Oh, we did see the new Disney Orchestra Society show at Beauty and the Beast Theater. It was good.
I know, right? It reminds me of definitely when they were doing those Pixar concerts for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of that light. There's no video, but I think it might be also called the Grand Floridian Society Orchestra.
Right. Yeah, I think so too.
Because I've noticed a couple of people, but and they did have this again, sign of the times. So they did bring out Lumiere in Cogsworth and Mrs. Potts and Chip. Okay. They had very elementary dance moves. And you're there for the music. Let's be honest. Okay. You're not there for some great choreography.
These were people who were transformed into objects you find around the house. They are not known for their dancing.
I'm just saying, the choreography I think might have been like shake your right leg twice, shake your left leg twice. I think I could have done it. That'd have been actually a dream of mine. I could have been. Mallory said you should have been Lumiere and gotten out there and done the moves because you could have handled that. So that tells you it can't be complicated. Now, at the very end, they did have Beauty and the Beast there. This is where it's such a sign of the times, though. They never did get within 6 feet of each other. They kind of blew kisses at each other and kind of like looked at each other. It was so awkward, but I mean, we're in an awkward time again. Like,
yes,
allowed to, but it was like, dude, kiss, but you can't even get within 6 feet. So it was kind of crazy, but they played Be Our Guest. So I was in there. So weird, but the shows, if you like music, it's always great to have live entertainment. I loved it. It was so much fun. Let's see here. What else? We went to Animal Kingdom the next day. Again, with the characters, those characters on the boats are even better than the character cavalcades at the parks. Like those characters at the boats, like you're just walking maybe from like Africa to Pandora and you hear music all of a sudden and all you gotta do is kind of peek down. And the fun thing is like, it was Chip and Dale and their dinosaur costumes that were all the rage before the pandemic, and Goofy was on the boat too. They do, like you said, they wave to you. Like you get a personal interaction. You can even get a selfie with them if you're ready. Get ready.
That's awesome.
And there's music and all that stuff. So I really enjoyed that. Again, got the boarding we did I got messed up. I didn't mention this, but Smuggler's Run messed me up this time because again, it was just our group of 5. So we got the whole car, the cockpit. We got to go wherever we wanted. I'd always been an engineer, never been anything else. And this thing had never bothered me. So I thought this time Mallory, she'd never done it. So we let her be Chewbacca. She got to be front right and make the jump to light speed. I went left and I got to be Ray or Han Solo, whatever era you are. So it was Mallory and I were the pilots. Oh, dude, I had a migraine for 48 hours after that. And Pam, you said you mentioned that maybe the motion gets you more, because I thought it would be better if you're in control of stuff. That thing was crazy. I had a headache for 48 hours after that.
I know. So I have heard, I think everyone is certainly different, but for me, who does have challenges with motion sickness, I will say, like on Star Tours, I can't really do it anymore. I love it and I can't do it. And it breaks my heart because there's hardly anything I like more than Star Wars. But, it's one of the things I can't do. And there are other attractions like that I can't do. For me, being the engineer is actually the best place for me to be, because when you're the engineer, you have things that you can focus on the wall next to you. You're busy doing things. And so, right. Pilot, you have to be watching the screen the whole time. And that's why I decided, you know what, I'm not even doing the pilot thing, and I'm happy to watch other people do it because I know they get a kick out of it. But for me, just being in the engineer, I can look at the screen when I want to, when things are feeling good. And then when I need to turn away, I absolutely can. So for me, it's the interaction with the screen and the movement that gets me more than anything else.
Yep. Same thing. Like, I'll never be the pilot before. I got to do it once now. I said it, but I paid for it. And you got to know your body. So that what I'm getting back to is we went to Animal Kingdom and I'd never seen the Flight of Passage queue, because I'd always fast passed it the few times.
Right.
So everybody wanted to ride it. So I just walked, and it was real nice. You just walk through, when they get on the Banshees, I walked right through and went out and met them in, 10 minutes, because the opportunity was there to do that, because the queue was just constantly moving. I didn't have to wait. I liked the queue, but it wasn't worth waiting 4 hours to see the queue. I was never doing it. But when was I ever going to get to do that, standby line with, a 10-minute wait? It was great. So take that opportunity if you get it. Let's see what else. We got that cool picture. I will say the PhotoPass guy outside of the Animal Kingdom, as we got to the park where you can get your picture, like with the Animal Kingdom entrance behind you. This is where wearing masks and hats and sunglasses kind of throw people off. He thought my daughter and I were a couple. That was awkward. We're like, nope, that's my daughter. She's 12. I know, super tall, and we have on masks. And so, yeah, you're going to get that. We were scared to death that we were going to get like a magic shot on PhotoPass that had like a heart or like true love or something over our head. That was a joke. I was watching
too funny.
Going to come through. So yeah, I was worried about that. Santula Canteen, always solid. Cheeseburger pods are back. And so I got a cheeseburger pod and a chicken bowl. That was good. That was fun. The next day was Epcot. So what was different? We went over to Olivia's for breakfast, got an ADR. I think it was for like $9 or something. People were asking, is the patio open at Olivia's? Yes, it was. We ate on the patio at Olivia's. It was beautiful. It wasn't hot. It was early in the morning, shaded. There was a breeze. But again, very limited menu. I think you got to be aware of that your favorite dish, like you might get in your favorite restaurant, but you definitely may not get your favorite dish right now.
Mm-hmm. I think that restaurants across our country and probably the world are struggling with trying to keep their costs low, especially when they have limited capacities. Most people don't know, and maybe a lot of people do, but restaurants typically run very close to the profit margin to begin with. They don't have a ton of profit margin because they have a huge overhead in terms of not only employee costs, but also space and food and everything else. So one of the ways that they can reduce some of their costs is take off some of those menu items that maybe utilize items that aren't used by any other item on the menu. And so that means that they're cutting down and looking for ways to do different things, and it only makes sense. So I think that's probably what you ran into a little bit with that. And we'll probably see that for a while. But I think all of us, I don't know if you're in the same boat that I am, I'm just so happy to be somewhere where someone else is making my food and bringing it to me and seems happy to be like having dinner with me in a way. So love it. So love that.
Yeah, like I told Scott, I was like, it's a Saturday morning. It's 9:00. We're on a patio in Florida. Old Key West is just, it's like, seriously, when you look at it from the patio at Old Key West, it looks like a postcard. Doesn't even look real.
For sure.
The lighthouse and the palm trees and the bridge and the water and everything. And, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm still having like cheesy scrambled eggs, breakfast potatoes, a biscuit, bacon and sausage, and I could have had pancakes. You know, I just, in the past, we had like a bigger menu on Saturday mornings, like a, you know, like a brunch option. But I mean, I get it. You know, the restaurant isn't as busy, but it was still like I was in heaven. I was eating out for breakfast. Great. So I just want people to be aware of that because we're talking about things that are different. Food and wine over at Epcot. Once we got there, here's again, real quick, what's different? Scott and I had this conversation many times because it was really hot the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. I mean, it was the heat index of like 110 to 115 as we had looked down in the afternoon. I mean, this is like serious hot. And remember, you're wearing underwear on your face. So the whole thing is, we had this discussion like, why is this getting us so much? Because it wasn't necessarily the masks. And what we came back to is we normally get to Epcot at 9 a.m. or usually 8:30 to be ready to go at 9 a.m. We knock out Future World and, you know, maybe Mexico, maybe a little Canada, UK, maybe back to France, and we're out, you know, like, and then we come back in the evening, you know, say at 6 and have a dinner, maybe one fast pass and watch some fireworks. That's we're never in a park. I'm not kidding. I am never in a park like between 1 and 5. We just don't do it in the summer. We're swimming. I'm napping usually. We're just not in the heat of the day, but kind of with these shorter park hours and with an 11 o'clock park opening at Epcot on a Saturday, like you're kind of forced to be there in the heat of the day, which is, you got to consider that, you know, especially for this time where it's going to be hot. I mean, it definitely made me miss the traditional park hours. That is something I do miss because at 11, I get why they're doing it, but if you're getting to Epcot at 11 o'clock, man, it's already smoking hot before you even go through the touch point.
It makes sense. I mean, it's a different way of touring. You really are sort of in the middle of it. I think the trade-off for that is some of the things that you've mentioned is that you can pretty much get the park completely done in a reasonable amount of time, which I think I'm so jealous of the people that are there and just getting so much done. So,
and what we found out too is you got to, again, be smart about what you're doing. So we stopped and watched the Mariachi Cobre, which I love Mariachi Cobre, the mariachi band from Mexico. They're performing at the American Gardens Theater, the big theater, you know, back in America. So we watched one of their shows. Then we immediately after that, the Jameters, which I forget what they have a new name for the food and wine festival or something. They have like a food theme, still same guys. We watched their show. The girls went and got a kakigori down in Japan. So we cooled off that way. We were in the shade. We were watching live entertainment. We had snow cones basically. So while we weren't going back and having a midday break, we were out of the sun for a good 30, 40 minutes with live entertainment, and eating the snow cones. So that's kind of how we did. Also, we were snacking around World Showcase, which again, the rule is you can't walk around and eat and drink at the same time. So you would get your item. Like I got the bao buns and some other thing, a dumpling at China, and we just sat down at a bench, ate it pretty quickly, then moved on. So that's not ideal, but it's what you got to do. But then we decided we needed some AC. So we went down to the cantina at San Angel and we just got like chips and guac and, you know, little like appetizer things, but we got fountain sodas. And you guys hopefully know that when you go to the cantina at San Angel, you can eat inside. You know, you don't have to eat out in that gazebo outside. There's a door there that takes you into the indoor restaurant. There's seating in there too. Go in there, catch some AC and kind of get your wits about you, then go back around World Showcase. We did that. So
I think you need to employ all of your hot weather techniques. Yeah. And that always is something that we've advised guests to do. So do something outside, then go inside for a while and cool down. Like, don't let yourself get overheated. I think that's where you get into trouble, is by keeping up with it, staying on top of it, hydrating, seeing a show, watching a movie, all those things, especially when you're walking around World Showcase, that's the way to do it. So.
But Teacher Likes Books here in the YouTube, she has a great point that is, this is something you could have never done before. She said, you know, was it great to sleep in and still make rope drop? I mean, you can make rope drop and sleep for Epcot, especially the studio is just different with getting there for the boarding groups. But I mean, 11 o'clock, you could sleep till 10 and still be there in plenty of time.
I know, right? I mean, this was made for Ricky in so many different ways, right?
Yeah.
Even then, I'm not sure that she would make it at Rope Drop, but she'd be a heck of a lot, closer to it than she used to. So, yeah, absolutely. It lets you have the best of both worlds. And I bet you more people are visiting their resort pools than ever before. And the thing is, the overall attendance is so low at this point that even if everyone is visiting the pool, you still don't feel like you're packed in like you did. So love that aspect of it.
So, I don't want to go too long on this because we're going to, finally wrap it up on Monday with the live stuff while we were there. But, I did miss park hopping. I did miss the normal hours because I just have my decade plus kind of plan. Like, I always know the Magic Kingdom will open at about 8 or 9, depending on extra magic hours. And so I know when it's Magic Kingdom Day, we're doing this. We're going to be out by noon. We're going to be back at the hotel. And then what I really miss too, besides park hopping, is just being in a park at dark. That's what I kept telling Scott. I love the studios with all of its neon. I love the Magic Kingdom with the neon palm trees in Tomorrowland. And I just love the background loop more at night for some reason. Frontierland is magical at night. Epcot, everywhere is just more fun at night. And there was literally no opportunity to be in a park at dark in August. You can't do it. It's so weird.
I know. I think that you have to find those opportunities at the resorts and take them there. That is one of the things that we've lost, the nighttime shows and that nighttime sort of, opportunity to be in the parks with the lights and everything that Disney does so well at night. It's just one of the things that we're just not able to have right now. And I think it's totally normal to want that. I hope that somehow they're going to be able to figure out how to do this in different ways. And I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what that looks like. Are there opportunities to have some parks open later and some parks open earlier? You know what I mean? So that you could have one park that would be open later into the evening. I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see how Disney moves forward with this.
Scott and I were trying to, come up with theories as to why, there's no parks open at dark. Obviously you want to have shorter hours. It helps.
Right.
And they staggered closing. So just like the staggered openings, they have 8, 9, 10, and 11. They also have closing times of 6, 7, 8, and 9 for different parks. That helps the transportation and all that. But also we had a theory. We don't know if this is true or not, but if your park is not open when it's dark, you're probably not getting as many casual guest inquiries on like where are the fireworks or where's the parade, because people aren't thinking about fireworks and parades when it's still light outside, possibly. You think?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they are, but maybe it is just in terms of like cast staffing too, that I'm sure it's probably easier to get people to work what we all consider more normal work hours than it is, to extend into the evening. I don't know. And I think that it's easier just to keep that area. You have a better opportunity at seeing how people are interacting with each other when there is light too. So that could maybe that plays into it.
Well, is it like something with the mask? Like it's easier to
right.
Policy when it's easier to see people. I don't know.
Right. I don't know either. It'll be interesting.
John has a good, John's listened to the show forever, and I sure appreciate him always being with us for years and years. And he says, and I agree with this, it's a good point. He says, Disney without fireworks is like a really nice dinner without dessert. And you know what? But here's where we are in 2020 is the fact is I'd really like to have that really nice dinner, even if I don't get the dessert at this point, because I've been eating peanut butter and jelly for 5 months.
Well, and the other thing is too, I get to have a really nice dinner with courses that I probably didn't even have the opportunity to sample because I'm getting on everything. So that means I get to order it all. Like, do you know what I mean? Because you get to experience so many things and you have so much of it. But yeah, I agree. I mean, look, I have 100% been known to very much go to a park, avoid it during the day and show up for fireworks because that's one of my favorite parts of it. The ending to that day, I think, is spectacular. So I'm definitely going to be missing that.
That's a great point. I mean, it's a great point. I mean, would you give up the great dinner if you're not getting dessert? Yeah. I mean, it does kind of leave you at the end, like a little bit longing for more, but I mean, you had a good experience anyway, something you weren't going to get otherwise. So
for sure.
Great way to put it. Now I need dessert. We're getting it today. No. So, we're going to wrap this up. We're going a little bit long, but Pam, kind of we are in a whole different world. And like we said, better in a lot of ways, worse in some ways. I want a park hop. I want to be in the parks at night. I don't want to be in a park at 3:00 in the afternoon ever in August. But you know what? I did it. We didn't. There were times I thought I might die, but we didn't. We made it. I probably lost 3 pounds in sweat. I think you just have to be flexible. And especially for, Disney fans that have been many, many times, you have to be willing to try different strategies. Like you said, lean on the stuff but also say that sometimes those tried and true tips aren't going to work all the time now.
No, you really. So first of all, the tips aren't as important as they used to be. All the strategies for avoiding crowds and all of those other things probably aren't needed as much as they used to be. They just aren't. So that's something that's good. There's a casualness, I think, to it now without Fast Pass, without the scheduling. So many people were not fond of that. And I think this gives you an opportunity to sort of, again, enjoy the parks the way that they sort of used to be, with lower crowds and without fireworks. Because when we first started going to the Disney parks, I will say, as an adult, that there weren't fireworks every night. There truly were not. That was a rarity. It happened maybe a couple times a week. It just wasn't something that was done every day. So that's cool. I think that the other thing you get to see is the ability to move from attraction to attraction and get them done. Mm-hmm. That's a huge plus in so many ways. So, and at the end of the day, this is where we are. You're absolutely right. This is the way we have to do it if we want to do it right now. And I'm pretty sure I want to do it this way, regardless of what else is going on with that. So
yeah, I don't want to wear a mask, but if it means I got to wear a mask to be down there, yeah,
I'll wear 100%. Yeah, right.
It was fine. Like the whole thing, we had this discussion many times because Scott and I, we think a lot alike. We have these deep, we're huge Disney fans. We talk about this stuff all the time. Like when I was on a ride, I never even knew I had a mask on. Like I was so engaged with the experience, whether I was on Jungle Cruise or Rise or Toy Story Mania, trying to be, Mallory in the car at the game. It didn't matter. Space Mountain. I didn't even know I had a mask on. I did know when I was walking around Epcot, just kind of strolling around, like out in the sun. But when I was inside, you didn't notice. It does go away. And I do not, I'm not somebody that's had one on for the last 5 months because I don't leave the house. So I'm a good barometer on the tolerability of a mask. It was fine. Aaron did bring a good point real quick in the live chat that said the social distancing lines are a big plus because you do have a physical reminder to stay away from the people in line and you're not getting ridden up on all the time. That was huge plus. So I agree with that. So I say, if you don't have health, obviously you wouldn't want to travel right now if you have any health concerns, or if you're very nervous. I wouldn't want anybody to go down and be nervous the whole time because you do have signs reminding you of social distancing. You do have signs to keep your mask on all the time. If you're somebody that's really focused on that and worried about that, you are going to see it. I'm very laid back. I didn't even notice the signs after a while. I was glad to be out of the news cycle for 5 days and back to riding a log on Splash Mountain or to be on Space Mountain on a rocket or Astro Orbiter with my daughter behind me. Like I was screaming and yelling like a 12-year-old. I was having a great time. And that's really what this place is all about. It was positive. Honestly, if I could, I'd go back next week, because I was like, that's the whole thing is I wondered how I'd feel at the end of the trip. Like, did I force it? Because again, sometimes we force things, like I really, really want to do this. I want to like it and I'm forcing it. I would go back. It was so much fun. I would encourage people to give it a shot if you can, especially if you're listening to the show and you're on the fence. You maybe don't book the, 10-night stay like you do, or the 7-night stay. Go a long weekend, 4 nights. That's all we did. And we got everything done. We did all 4 parks, Magic Kingdom twice. We didn't go to Disney Springs, but I hate to shop. My wife wasn't with me, so I saw that as an opportunity. I didn't have to do it. So it was great. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Just a whole different world. It truly is different. Not being in the parks at night. But I liked not having fast passes. I liked it. I wouldn't like it if the parks were at capacity, but I liked it for now. It was great.
I agree. And we're missing. There's so many of us that are missing that travel experience for one reason or another, and missing the Disney experience. So thankfully, those of us who are here domestically can still experience it in one way or another. It's just going to be a little bit of a modified experience. But again, there's pluses and minuses to that. So I loved hearing your firsthand experience.
All right, a little bit more on Monday. We'll see. Mallory chimes in on her first Rise experience, what surprised her, what she thought of the staff, what were her thoughts on staying at Pop, flying down as a kid. She has some really good insight. She's really, again, it's really weird. Pam, real quick, you probably noticed this with Hannah, is that like all of a sudden, because they've had all these experiences like babies and toddlers and elementary age kids at the parks, because she's traveled there a ton. So did Hannah, even more than Mallory. But all of a sudden, it's like she's almost like a mini like travel planner at this point. Like she knows the system so well. I was like, oh my God, it's like scary. At 12 years old, she has the perfect day plan. It's weird. Not like Hannah.
It's true, though. They definitely have opinions about how they want their day to go.
It was funny. So yeah, you hear about her on you'll hear her thoughts on things on Monday. So don't forget, if you want to head down whenever you're ready, it doesn't have to be this fall, but the fall's a great time to go. I'm just telling you, it's fun. This is a historic time to get down there. You're missing some things, but you make up for things in other ways. So just drop by the magicforless.com. Check out all the great trip planning tools. Check out your resort course, limited resorts right now, but we can move into 2021 if you want to hold off a bit. Plan your trip, but really it does help us. We help support the show, help support my family. Honestly, we're a small business. We're just trying to keep everybody going here. And that's one thing about there. We talked about the employees down at Walt Disney World. They're so excited to have you there to take your picture. If you're a PhotoPass photographer, if they're a server, they were excited to serve you your meal. 50s prime time. We had a great server that was serving it up. It's the same way over at the Magic for Less. All the travel planners on the team. We're so excited to help you plan that next trip because again, let's be practical. A lot of us have had a little bit of slow times here over the last 4 or 5 months with a lot of the destinations closed. We're excited when we get to plan a trip. We want to help you, give you all the tips, give you all the advice. I said device, all the advice to help you have an amazing time. So just if you've never used a travel planner, now's the time. We really, really want to help you out. So drop by the Magic for Less, fill out that quote form, and an agent will get back to you right away. I promise you, you're going to have a good time. Cost you nothing extra either. And it's a fun experience. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Appreciate that so much. And if you want a little extra content in your day, drop by the Patreon, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast, a little mini podcast every Thursday called Mike in the Midwest. We have lots of conversations over there, sometimes little live drop-ins and stuff like that. So again, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. And give us a follow on social media, Instagram and Twitter at beourguestmike, at beourguestpod, facebook.com/beourguestpodcast, and check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/beourguestpodcast. All right, we're going to get out of here and wish you a wonderful weekend. We'll be back again on Monday with, again, the wrap to this trip with Mallory joining me, my little sidekick, my little traveler. And she did great. She did awesome. And we had so much fun, just her and I. It was the first time we got to travel together, just us, and had so much fun. So we'll talk about that on Monday. So until then, take care of yourself, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. That is right. Life is so unnerving for a server who's not serving.
Right.
Is it really though? No, it probably is.
I would say, yeah.
I've never seen that in words. Like I've heard it in the song about it. I've never seen it typed. Funny. Good one. All right. I'm going to duck out and edit these bad dogs. And
all right.
Get some TV. We had thunderstorm warning right now, so the power's probably going to go out.
Oh, gosh.
I'll see. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later.
All right. See you, everybody.
See you, everybody. Have a good one.
Okay. All right. Bye.